Hi, everybody. I'm Neil Seidman with the Public Education Committee for ADAA, the Anxiety and Depression Association of America. And we have with us Dr. Debra Kissen, CEO of the Light on Anxiety CBT Treatment Center in Chicago. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Kissen.
Thanks for having me, Neil and ADAA.
Yeah, many of us are experiencing so much anxiety and stress as we are navigating 2022. What are some tips that you find helpful?
Well, the first tip that comes to mind is, and I'm going to, is with all of the busyness of modern life, and especially a lot of us still working from home sometimes and the multitasking, is just try to take a moment to mindfully engage. And we're often so busy thinking about what's going to happen in the future and reviewing what happened in the past. And as humans, that's helpful. That helps us to be good problem solvers, but it doesn't really make for moments of calm and comfort. And so actively reminding ourselves to be here now at certain times in the day and really trying to just take our attention and anchor ourselves back into the present moment. And we could do that in tiny mindful moments. It doesn't have to be a day-long meditation retreat to do that. That's one top tip that comes to mind.
And we hear a lot about that term mindfulness. The way you're talking about it is it doesn't sound like it's that hard to do. What would be an example of something I could do to take like a mindful moment?
Well, for example, right now, I don't know if you and the audience here is like the crinkly sound of my dog with her toy right now. And so my mind actively is saying, like, I can't function or do anything until I make that crinkly toy go away. But at the same time, I can take my attention and continue to bring it back to the present moment, even if my mind is sending me the signal like, you can't proceed forward until you deal with that. I can notice that thought and then just take my attention and just put it on this conversation now. I could notice my in breath and my out breath. So just because I'm having the urge to go down the rabbit hole with my thoughts doesn't mean I can't return back. And I could kind of choose where to lead my attention. I don't always have to follow it where it wants to go.
So I can bring my attention back to the present moment. And maybe that means just paying attention to the conversation, having some curiosity about
Right.
what's my friend or colleague or family
Mm-hmm.
going to say next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really we could work our mindfulness muscles throughout the day. And we're hoping through these ADA quick tips to provide you with other tools to kind of really strengthen those healthy coping muscles at different opportunities. And it doesn't have to be a big, long initiative to get a little bit of wellness in your day.
What would be one more example of something I could do to take a mindful moment, say if I'm by myself?
Um, I would say is and it could be maybe if you're walking to get somewhere and you're noticing, oh, our minds feel like, oh, this is a good moment to be on autopilot because I'm walking. So I could think about what I'm going to make for dinner, and I could think about what am I going to say to that friend that we had that tension, but I want to work it out before the upcoming trip together. Instead, notice your busy mind, but then just take all that energy and just return to the feeling of your feet making contact with the ground. So kind of taking a mindful walk. And so even though your mind wants to problem solve, instead just literally feel what it feels like to take that next step forward and then that next step forward. And it's really hard. So maybe just for 1 minute, tell yourself, I'm just going to keep coming back to the feeling of my feet making contact with the ground.
It sounds like that could be relaxing to do. Could be calming.
And sometimes it's going to feel really hard. Uh, and so I'd say when it comes to working your mindfulness muscle, someone might say, "Oh, it didn't work because I that felt really hard." But it's really like going to the gym. Some moments are going to feel harder than others, but after you'll feel better. So when I wanted to move from our conversation to get my dog's toy and get it out of the room, that didn't feel good. That felt really, it was like an itch that I wanted to itch. But reminding myself I can handle this moment, even if it's not the way I would hope the moment was unfolding. I have the distress tolerance. Um, is I'm getting stronger each time, even if it's hard sometimes to not give in to our monkey mind and just go wherever it wants to go.
Yeah. And then in the long run, it could help me. Maybe
Mhm.
immediately, but it could help me
Yeah, right. We're
be a
getting
little
with
bit
each
more
step,
calm.
we're getting a little stronger in our ability to choose where we put our life force.
Yeah, wonderful.
Well,
Thank
thank you for letting me
you
work
for
my mindfulness
tips.
muscle.
Thank you, Dr. Kissen, and I look forward to hearing future tips.
Me too. Thank you, Neil and ADA.